Right now, Putin is trying to strangle Pokrovsk and Kupiansk. True hell is unfolding there at this very moment. Ukrainian bombs are raining down right on the occupiers' heads. A firestorm. Our forces are mercilessly destroying Putin's equipment and soldiers. There is no chance of survival. Just yesterday, the invaders were brazen, but today they are already doubting their own greatness. The dictator is issuing bloody orders to an army that's already barely limping along, yet continues its brazen mission. Everything about the front line, which the whole world is watching closely. Don't miss what's next.
There were 276 combat engagements on the front in the past day. On the hottest front near Krovsk, Ukrainian defenders stopped 100 attacks.
Undoubtedly, the issue is Krovsk. We continue to destroy the occupiers. I especially want to acknowledge the special forces. These are the SOA and the SBU, who are systematically and very effectively destroying Russian occupiers and their equipment in the Pokrovsk area, including in the city itself.
The General Staff reports that the armed forces of Ukraine are successfully repelling the enemy's attempts to gain a foothold in the city.
The enemy, just so you understand, in over 2 years and 2 months, actually even longer, of trying to take Pokrovsk, has already left more than 200,000 of its soldiers there. Russian losses are colossal.
Despite Russian media claims about capturing Pokrovsk, Ukrainian soldiers are showing a different reality.
Plus, you are better.
Ukrainian fighters returned the Ukrainian flag to the city council building in Pokrovsk.
They carefully advanced into the building, cleared it, destroyed the enemy there, and then proudly raised the Ukrainian flag.
However, Russia does not stop trying to capture and encircle the city.
As we currently control a designated 15-meter zone, which covers all logistics and ammunition supply, while the enemy, on the other hand, controls their own separate 15-meter zone. The situation in Pokrovsk is stable. I can't say that we have any problematic issues or that Pokrovsk could be occupied. Our assault units are conducting counterattacks on the front line, defending positions from the enemy.
It is reported that holding Pokrovsk is only a matter of a few days or weeks. But Ukrainian soldiers are determined to hold the city as long as possible.
They continue to hold on, maintaining their efforts and determination for as long as they possibly can, refusing to give up or let go even when faced with challenges. Their persistence drives them to keep going, enduring through difficulties and striving to last for the maximum amount of time they are able, until they simply cannot continue any longer. To the bitter end, as they say. That's why all of their offensive actions lead to the complete and widespread destruction of towns and villages. So we will hold Pokrovsk for as long as it is necessary, for as long as it makes sense to do so.
It's been over a year since Putin planned to seize Pokrovsk, but something went wrong. Now for the Russians, it's more of a symbolic goal than a tactical one.
Our enemy is suffering disproportionate losses. Let me repeat once more. In just over a year, he has already lost more than 200,000 of his servicemen in the Pokrovsk direction, including equipment, both armored and lightly armored vehicles, as well as helicopters and planes, which our guys have shot down.
It's no secret that the forces on the battlefield are absolutely unequal. Russia uses the tactic of assaults by small groups every day.
Only by small sabotage groups. The enemy infiltrates the territory of Pokrovsk, moving in groups of 1 or 2 people gathering at a certain point, and then 2 camels arrive there as well, also in civilian clothes, carrying some bags, carrying some duffel bags. These camels bring in weapons and ammunition. What do you need?
It's also interesting that the Kremlin is sending people to this front who are completely unfit for combat. In
the networks, hundreds of videos appear showing that in the battle for the city, generals are sending the wounded into combat. Because of this, the fighters have nicknamed Pokrovsk the city of the zeroed out.
But in Kupiansk, the situation is somewhat different. Fierce fighting continues there, but Ukrainian units have managed to regain control over part of the built-up area. At this point, it's still too early to talk about full control.
The situation in the Kupiansk direction is serious. Our units of professional unmanned systems operators have now arrived at their designated location. Upon their arrival, they began providing support and assistance to our armed forces, helping to ensure the success and safety of ongoing operations in the area. They provided essential support to our infantry and assault troops, helping them to successfully turn the situation around. They then took complete control of the entire riverbank and eliminated all the occupiers who attempted to swim across it.
Let us recall that on November 1st, Putin was planning to celebrate the capture of Pokrovsk and even intended to go there.
However, the visit, which was supposed to be a demonstration of Russia's strength and a challenge to Western countries, was cancelled.
The bunker-dwelling old man got angry and decided to throw all his forces at Pokrovsk. But not his own, of course, but rather his own citizens.
The Flamingos urgently stirred up the whole of Donbas. Ukrainian ballistic missiles reached the occupiers' secret warehouse. A direct hit. Magyar hit the jackpot. The underground depots of the Russian army were blown up. Russian generals are howling in the Kremlin. They definitely won't get a pat on the back for such a blunder. And on top of that, a rout in Crimea. Drones shredded the enemy forces on the peninsula. Explosions and massive fires at full force. The ground is shaking under the Russians' feet. Could this be the loud sound that signals the beginning of the liberation of Crimea and Donbas? We'll talk about this in just a moment.
A unique operation that lasted for months ended with a spectacular explosion in Donetsk. According to locals, nothing like this has ever happened in the occupied territories. They have never seen anything like it. Where did it hit, what was destroyed, and most importantly, what did the Ukrainian armed forces use to strike?
With a super effect and an even bigger explosion. It was the Flamingo missiles at work. And
now, let's go through everything step by step. The night before, a powerful explosion rocked Donetsk, and according to eyewitness videos, a fireball appeared in the sky resembling a nuclear mushroom cloud. Windows were blown out in buildings several kilometers from the epicenter. Right now,
my windows have been blown out.
In reality, this is the Oktyabrski airport area, a large ammunition depot which was hit by missiles. There is no official information yet, but people are already talking about an ammunition depot. I saw an amazing video. Most likely it really was a very large missile or shell depot, because in the video, just like in science fiction movies or computer games, there's an explosion, then another explosion, and you can actually see this glowing, rapidly expanding shockwave. So it was a very successful strike on the Donetsk depots.
A bit later, this issue was clarified by the head of the UAV systems of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Robert Magyar Brody. According to his information, the strike hit a large warehouse of Shahed-type drones where warheads were also stored.
The development of this complex target turned into a months-long painstaking intelligence operation pieced together from tiny fragments. Last night, it was carried out using appropriate strike assets by the Special Operations Forces and the Missile and Artillery Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. Analysts
note that despite the long flight range, it was very important for the Russians to keep a stockpile of these Shahed drones close to the front line. It was crucial for them to store these drones near the front. After all, when the occupiers launch UAVs just a few dozen kilometers from the line of contact, the Ukrainian armed forces simply don't have enough time to respond quickly. As a result, the drones carry out their terror in frontline cities and also strike at the forward positions of our troops. This
is precisely the disruption of logistics for the supply of shells, rockets and drones in the Pokrovsk direction, in Pokrovsk itself. This is very important for us right now.
But our command preferred to remain silent about what exactly struck the defense lines. One thing is certain, drones definitely took part in the attack. But something else followed them as well.
as the footage from there shows, it was clearly not only drones that were in action. The UAVs, as can be understood, encountered the local air defense. But the final blow was delivered by something resembling a rocket. So it was either a drone or possibly a missile.
The fact that such missiles were used is also supported by Magyar's report about the participation of Ukraine's missile forces in the attack.
I don't think the warehouse with Shaheds was unprotected, that it was just hangars. Most likely we are talking about some kind of underground bunker. And that's another reason why I think these were Flobings. Of course, they could have used Storm Shadow as well. Storm Shadow would have worked here too. They have an anti-bunker function. Nevertheless, the scale of the detonation shows that, well, in any case, it seems to me that if you look at the first second, there was an explosion clearly bigger than just a couple 100 kilograms of the Storm Shadow's warhead.
So yes, most likely it was our Ukrainian Flamingos which for the third time just this week have inflicted colossal damage on the Russians. But in Crimea, such power wasn't needed, so drones were sent to attack the peninsula. In occupied Simferopol, around 2:30 in the morning, a fire broke out at an oil depot. It is likely referring to Krimnaftozbad in the area of the village of Bitumne. There were also reports of 4 strikes in Hvardiyske, after which smoke rose into the sky. There, the strikes likely hit the local thermal power plant, which temporarily ceased operations.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.